I, 26, vividly remember the moment I first laid eye on her, 24, the woman who will become my fiancée. It was a warm summer evening, and I had decided to attend a mutual friend's birthday party at a cozy rooftop bar in the heart of the city. Little did I know that this seemingly ordinary gathering would mark the beginning of an extraordinary journey. As I walked into the venue, my eyes scanned the crowd, searching for familiar faces. That's when I saw her, standing near the bar, chatting animatedly with a group of friends. There was an undeniable energy surrounding her, a magnetic aura that instantly drew me in. Her smile was radiant, lightening up the room and captivating everyone around her. Embarking on a mission to introduce myself, I mustered up the courage and made my way towards her. As we engaged in a conversation, I discovered her warm and genuine nature. Her laughter was infectious, and her eyes sparkled with intelligence and curiosity. Time seemed to stand still as we exchanged stories, jokes, and shared interest. In the midst of our conversation, she casually mentioned her previous relationship. She had had two serious relationships before, and her last boyfriend happened to live out of state. Despite the geographical distance, it was clear that they had shared a significant bond. Although I felt a twinge of curiosity and a hint of concern, I focused on getting to know her as an individual, separate from her past experiences. As the night unfolded, we found ourselves naturally gravitating towards one another, drawn together by an unexplainable connection. We continued to talk, discovering shared passions and values that made our interaction feel effortless. It felt as if the universe had conspired to bring us together, intertwining our paths at that precise moment in time. From that day forward, we embarked on a beautiful journey, slowly unraveling the layer of each other's lives, or so I thought. We celebrated victories together, provided comfort during challenging times, and supporting each other's dreams and aspirations. Our love blossomed, deepened by the trust and understanding we developed. One day, while spending time with my fiancée, I noticed her smiling on her phone and typing away with a certain enthusiasm. Curiosity got the better of me, and I couldn't help but wonder who she was messaging. As I approached her, I caught a glimpse of the text conversation, and to my surprise, it was her ex-boyfriend who lived out of state. Mixed emotion flooded my mind as I tried to process what I just discovered. Questions and doubts began to surface, casting a shadow over the trust we had built. I wanted to approach the situation with understanding, so I calmly asked her about the text exchange, careful not to jump to conclusions. With sincerity in her eyes, she explained that they had maintained a friendship after their breakup and their messages were purely platonic. They occasionally caught up on life events, shared jokes, and offered each other support from afar. She reassured me that her heart belongs to me and that our relationship was her priority. Listening to her explanation, I struggled to find the right balance between trusting her word and the doubt that lingered within me. It was essential for me to communicate openly, so I expressed my concerns and she promised to cut contact with her ex. We engaged in a heartfelt conversation where we both acknowledged the importance of honesty and the need for clear boundaries. As we dived deeper into the matter, we discovered that open lines of communications were vital for our relationship growth and stability. Together, we established guidelines that would nurture our trust and ensure that our connection remained strong. We agreed to maintain an open dialogue about our feelings and any concern that might arise along the way. A couple of nights later, we went out for drinks in the city. We had a great night, and I specifically didn't drink much because I wanted to make sure we would get home safe. Well, during the night, she drank so much that I had to literally carry her like a baby from the passenger seat to the bed. She's a lightweight, so it wasn't too stressful. While I was carrying her to the house, her phone dropped, but I waited till I dropped her on the bed before coming back to pick it up. When I picked up her phone, I got curious and checked to see if she was still chatting with her ex-boyfriend on Snapchat. But unfortunately, she had changed the password on her phone. That only heightened my curiosity. As she peacefully slept beside me, I couldn't shake off the nagging feeling that she was hiding something. The weight of the recent discovery still burdened my mind, and the temptation to seek further answers grew stronger. It was in that moment of weakness that I succumbed to trying something creative. I used her facial recognition on her while she slept. She unlocked her phone, unlocking her device. I hesitantly navigated through her Snapchat, fearing what I might discover. As I opened and searched for messages from her ex, I noticed that she had changed the profile name of her ex-boyfriend to something innocuous, almost unrecognizable. My heart sank, realizing the significance of this act. She had intentionally obscured their connection, leaving me feeling deceived. A wave of mixed emotion washed over me as I continued scrolling through the conversation. Most of their conversation had been deleted, but there were still some that were still showing. That's when I stumbled upon a time-sensitive video, unmistakably sent by her ex-boyfriend. Dread settled within me. I comprehended the content of the message, an intimate X-rated video of both of them having X. I watched the video in its entirety and saved it to myself. The video was so graphic that you would think it was something out of a XXX rated website. To make matters worse, she was an active participant, even holding the camera for a short period so he could change position. Mind you, in the past, if I so much have taken a picture, even without her face showing why we have X, she will force me to delete it, even when she knows that we couldn't be identified if the video somehow gets leaked. To add to my insecurity, even though I would consider myself average, he was significantly bigger than me down there, and she was moaning louder than I have ever heard her moan during X. There was also videos of her playing with toys. Her reply to him sending her the video was a rolling eye emoji. On the preceding conversation, they just went about like he didn't just send her the X tape. Please take a second to support the channel by hitting the thumbs up to like this video. Thank you. It wasn't that clear to me why he sent that video to her. Confusion and disbelief overwhelmed me as questions raced through my mind. How could she continue to text him? Why did she record an X tape with him? But now she wouldn't so much as let me take a picture during X, even though he is in another state. Have they been secretly meeting up behind my back? I desperately needed answers, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to explain. As she began to stare awake, I couldn't help but feel a profound sense of anxiety. I decided to confront her about what I had discovered, despite the potential pain it might cause me. Sitting beside her, I mustered the courage to ask her why she continued to communicate with her ex, even though she told me that she stopped, and obviously thought she could fool me by changing the profile name. My voice trembling with a mix of hurt and confusion. Her eyes widened as I shared what I had found, and her face contorted with a blank of shock and remorse. Crocodile tears welled in her eyes, and she struggled to find the words to explain. She said she changed the profile name so it wouldn't hurt my feelings. She claimed that he was abusive, and the videos were sent as a threat. She claimed they made it together and promised it would be private, but he had went on to release one of them on an S-rated site when they broke up, and it took a lot to take it down, which is why she has a phobia to recording videos or snapping pictures during X. I asked her if he was so abusive, then why did she maintain contact with him? She claimed that they made a lot of videos, and he threatened to release them if she stopped responding to him. I completely bought into her story. Through her tearful confession, she expressed her regrets and the immense guilt she carried for lying to me and hiding things. She emphasized that her intentions were never to bring harm to our relationship. As she spoke, I saw genuine remorse in her eyes, and it appeared that her intentions were not rooted in a desire to rekindle a romantic connection. We engaged in a lengthy, heartfelt conversation about trust, boundaries, and the importance of respecting each other's feelings. I told her that we should probably hire a lawyer or let his girlfriend know, but she refused, fearing that it might make things worse. The following day, I did a little digging and found the Facebook of his girlfriend. I wrote a wall of texts on how her boyfriend was harassing my fiancée. It didn't take long before she responded with shock. She got back to me later that day, thanking me for telling her about what her boyfriend was up to. She also told me that my account of what was happening was inaccurate. She did some digging and collected more evidence, confirming things that my fiancé left out. She also confronted her boyfriend with the evidence she collected. Come to find out, they continued to see each other. He would tell his girlfriend that he was going on a road trip or a work function, but in reality, he was driving to see my fiancé. She told me that my fiancé wanted them to get back together, but he refuses. We checked notes on the days she mentioned, and I checked my text log to confirm that my fiancé was also unaccountable during those times. When I confronted my fiancé about the new information, she claimed that she felt like he was holding her hostage, and he also threatened to release the videos if she doesn't have X with him. This time, I wasn't buying her story. I told her that we can no longer continue our relationship. As I broke up with my fiancé, I could see the deep remorse itching across her face. The pain in her eyes mirrored the heaviness in my heart, and it was clear that she was devastated by our sudden separation. Her usual bright smile had faded, replaced by a mixture of sorrow and confusion. Because her name was also on the apartment lease, I allowed her to stay in the apartment in separate bedrooms as she looked for another apartment to move in. I could sense her grappling with the lingering emotions of our failed relationship. She tried to seduce me a couple of times, but I turned her down. She claimed that she regretted cheating on me, and if she could go back in time, she would do things differently. 1 week before she moved out of my apartment, she suddenly stopped playing nice, and her real self came out. We got into arguments, and she told me that she was glad that she cheated on me. Come to find out, her ex-boyfriend has resurfaced, seeking solace from his own breakup. His previous relationship has recently ended because of his affair, and he found himself drawn back to my fiancée. I felt like he wanted her for a rebound, but I tried not to think about it because I wanted her out of my life so I can heal properly. In the last few days before she moved out, she finally showed me her true colors. She had no remorse for cheating. Come to find out, she was now moving in with her ex-boyfriend out of state. She was going to quit her job, pack her things, and move in with this guy in another state. She confesses that he was the one she always wanted to be with, and God had used me to bring them together. Now, how does that make me feel? Like a plan B to her? A placeholder? The guy she settled for? As depressed as that made me feel, in a way, I thought I dodged a bullet for breaking up our engagement. What would have happened if I had married her and had a child with her, then find all this out? A day later, I could see her face brighten up. The possibility of rekindling an old flame ignited a newfound hope within her. She quit her job, got a U-Haul trailer, and drove out of state to move in with her ex-boyfriend. Why I couldn't help but feel a tinge of sadness and jealousy. I held my head up for being the one that made the decision to separate because I can't marry someone that lied to me constantly and cheated on me. I'd rather be alone than be someone else's plan B. I understand that life's twists and turns can lead us down unexpected paths. My fiancé change in demeanor from remorseful to excitement had a profound effect on me. Few months ago, I was thinking about spending the rest of my life with her. Now she's gleefully moving in with another man that she had been waiting on the sidelines for. I know that in order for me to move on, I had to let her go. So I wish her well as she embarked on a journey to rebuild what she felt like she deserves, hoping that she would find the happiness and fulfillment she sought in her reunion with her ex-boyfriend. 2 months later, she called me back, crying. The initial excitement she felt at the prospect of rekindling her relationship with her ex-boyfriend was quickly overshadowed by heartbreak once again. As they dive into their reunion, investing time and emotion in each other, a sudden twist of fate unfolded. His ex-girlfriend, who had previously broken up with him, unexpectedly reached out, expressing a desire to reconcile. Caught between two conflicting emotions, my ex-fiancé's ex-boyfriend decided to dump her and went back to his girlfriend. He chose to go back to his ex-girlfriend, leaving her devastated and abandoned once more. Now she's reaching out to me, telling me that she quit her job for nothing. She left a good job for something that paid way less on a whim for a guy that didn't care about her and was just using her. The news hit her hard, and the pain of yet another breakup washed over her like a tidal wave. It was as if her heart had been shattered into even smaller pieces than before, and she had nobody but herself to blame. I felt satisfied at her misery. The joy and hope that had briefly returned to her life was cruelly snatched away, just like she snatched mine away when she cheated on me. Now she's left hopeless with a void that seemed impossible to fill. In the aftermath of this heart-wrenching experience, she found herself in a state of profound sadness, and the depression hit her hard. She called me And 2 months after not speaking to her, I picked up to hear what she had to say. She questioned her self-worth and wondering why she had been cast aside twice by people she cared about deeply. I reminded her that she didn't care about me. She was just feeling bad at the moment. But if her ex decided to come back, she would be singing a different tune. She claimed that the remorse that she once felt after our breakup paled in comparison to the sorrow she experienced now. She said she wishes I could take her back, but she knows I wouldn't. I advised her to pick her life back together and return to her old job. I never heard from her again till I ran into her mom at a grocery store a few months later. Her mom told me my ex started drinking heavily and lost her apartment. She became homeless before moving in with her mom, and they had to admit her into a rehab facility because she went from alcoholism to drugs. I don't know. Something must have snapped in her because that wasn't the same woman I knew. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to support my channel. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.